Oof. Okay, now comes the hard part, reading the letter. Please, you have to excuse me for stumbling and mumbling over these words, even if I've written them myself, but my eyesight ain't so good, and looking at dots and commas can be quite difficult. So, yeah, reading the letter, very, very simple. To COP26, big heading, what an 80-year-old golfer thinks, as opposed to what a president or a head of a bank or a head of industry. This is a low-level input into COP26. Letter starts, I have started writing this letter at least 5 times, but each time I had to give it up because there was too much to say. So I will just explain the 2 cartoons below. So here we go. I'll show you the first cartoon. Shows a king or a head of a state or a president with a very worried look on his face because he's suddenly realized that he's now responsible to creation, not his fickle human supporters whose votes he always gets. The cartoon, the heading is lovely Shakespearean, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. And you can see the king looking directly at, with a very worried look at creation, led by the eye of God as portrayed as the eye of the eagle. So yes, he's certainly worried now. So I'll continue reading. Shakespeare always gets things right. In the past, our leaders have always worried about their enemies who want to kill them. More recently, our leaders have been worried about keeping their supporters happy because their supporters keep them in power with the democracy and their votes. The leaders easily do this, in other words, they easily keep their supporters happy with promises to make things better. So far, so good. Today, however, our leaders have woken up with real fear on their faces, as you can see in the cartoon, because all of a sudden they have found themselves accountable to creation, a far, far greater force than their normally fickle human supporters. And lo and behold, now our leaders find that both creation and supporters want to hear different promises. Obviously, the supporters want to hear, an easier life, promises of more feather bedding, this and that. While the environment wants to hear that the humans are going to tighten their belt for the sake of nature. So, yeah. So the leaders are in a fix. So our leaders are in a real fix because they know that even the whitest of white lies will never escape the eagle eye of God. So there they are. They're responsible to creation and they should know it now. Second paragraph, but let us not worry too much about our leaders, because from this moment on, their power and position in our world will diminish. Why? Because our leaders are, and always have been, the talkers. It is the rest of us that are the walkers, or the doers in life, and it is the doers who make everything that happens in this world happen, as the cartoon below will show. And here again, another cartoon below. You'll see Big Joe saying he needs a new coat. So there's the market demand. And then you'll see little Freddie suddenly coming up and say, well, I happen to be the best tailor in town, and I make very good items with least cost. This new coat will only cost a couple of bags of wheat. So there we are. There we have the free market economy, the market demand, the market supply, and you'll see on the other side, the right-hand side, the dear old environment, which provides all the material that we humans use to keep them going and increase their standards of living. There we are, the market demand, the market supply, and the environment that provides it. Right back to what the letter says. This cartoon tells us all we want to know about how we and our environment have arrived at the position we are in today. Ever since we humans arrived on this earth, with our bigger brains, we have always wanted things, market demand, in order to improve our lives. And because we needed things, our new rational brains worked out ways of making these things. Bingo, market supply. The free enterprise economy was up and running. It arrived the same day we did and has been with us ever since. We are it and it is us. We both exist on the same basis, that of survival of the fittest. In other words, if we don't win our games, we die. If the suppliers continue to make bad rubbish, they won't survive either. They will die. So only the best suppliers will survive in the free market. That is how we have got to the position we are in today, with the aid of two very necessary helpers, one visible and one invisible. The visible one you've seen in the cartoon, which is the environment that provides humanity with everything it needs to improve our lives. But even with all the riches that the environment gives us, we still would not be here today without, or the letter says, the great invisibles, otherwise known as good manners, or the timeless laws of God, or the eternal laws of humanity, which should never be interfered with. These are the basic manners that stop humans making humanity extinct. In other words, if we didn't have laws of restraint, humanity would have driven itself into extinction. These invisible laws and customs were strong enough to control our animal instincts sufficiently to enable us to live peacefully together in communities where knowledge could be shared and could accumulate. And knowledge, of course, is at the base of everything as to how humanity has improved himself over the rest of nature. We'll take a break there and come back with what happened next. Thanks.